Hello everyone. You should have this handout, 3.7 word problems. Now hopefully you brought all the necessary tools to do it. So you need a pencil today, right? Standard math tools, pencil, a calculator, which I'll use this one here. I'll use the Texas Instruments and I'll plug all my information on here. And your basic ruler, which you should be bringing to class. Now, it is possible that I have some extra rulers, but you'll have to exchange something like a cell phone for a ruler, and they should be in the front in the class, in the drawers in the desk. So if the teacher's willing to exchange, you can bring your cell phone up and exchange for a ruler. They are in the desks in the two drawers on the side. There's some rulers there, but hopefully you brought one because it's math class and these are the standard tools. Okay, we're going to start off by reading the question here. So start off over here. A rocket is launched from a cliff. The equation for the height is given here. So we got a height equation, ht minus 5t squared plus 18t plus 100. The ht is the height in meters, and t is the time in seconds. And then we're going to create this table here, and from the table we're going to put a graph on the side. And you should have this handout. I'll do one question, you do another. So start off, create a table. So I've already put the equation here that we're going to use, and now we just plug in the value. 0 squared plus 18, we put a 0 where the time is, plus 100. We write all those in. We get our nifty little calculator. We go minus 5, bracket 0. We square that, so plus 18, put the 0 in, and plus 100. It equals, and the answer is 100. We'll put the 100 here. Repeat it for the next one. Now I know we've done this before, so just continue or jump ahead of me if you're faster than me. Right, fill it in, use your calculator, and get the work done. I'm going to try to stay quiet and finish the table for the next few minutes. You guys do the same thing. You should be at the same speed as me, right? Because we've done it before. Just a note, because I'll continue. Make sure this sign here in the calculator is not minus, just a negative sign. It might work with a minus, but it might not. And we're just going to change this number as we go. Okay, so you should have done it at the same pace as me. You could have checked the numbers. Look, if not, I don't know what you were doing. You could have just copied what I did, but hopefully you typed it in the calculator. You used your time wisely. You made sure you knew how to use the calculator. Okay, now we're going to graph this. So here we got time and height. And we're not going to create a t-graph. So we're not going to create a t-graph. So what do you mean? Or a plus graph. This is not a plus graph. So this is not a graph that looks like this. Okay, there's no x and y here. It's not this type of graph. It's not xy. Definitely not xy graph. It doesn't say there's a time and then there's a height. So it's not one of these graphs. Okay, so we don't want to put a plus sign down the middle. It's only the positive numbers because we only want the time here, over here, and we only want the height. And we don't want to go back in time. There's no negatives. And the height, there's no negative heights. I know we got a negative answer, negative 19. Unless there's a valley or something, it's going to hit the ground at 0. At a height of 0, it's going to hit the ground. Okay, so we're not even going to graph that negative 19. So we're going to set this graph up as an L-shaped graph. So what do you mean by L? It looks like the letter L. So we use our rulers. Now it doesn't matter if there's dots there. We still draw the axis line. It has to be a complete line, not the little dots. And we still draw the other axis line. And we put arrows on the end. A lot of people just left it blank on the quiz. So we still draw the two axis lines. We put arrows on the end. Whoops, terrible arrow. Put nice arrows on the end. If you don't do it, you lose a half mark for each mistake you make. Okay, now if you put X here and Y there, you lose a half mark. It's not an XY graph. Make sure you don't have that. There's no X's or Y's there. You know, this is not an XY graph. Okay, so what kind of graph is it? Well, t is time. This is called the independent variable. It always goes up by nice numbers every single time. Look, I picked these numbers 1, 2, 3. Now, would I go 0, 2, 9, 5, 2, 3? No, I'd go by nice numbers going up. I picked them to make them easy to graph. So 0's here. Let's go, the second one will go 1. And it always goes down here. Okay, this one's 2, 3. These are all going to be nice numbers in a row. 4, 5, 6, 7. We got to go all the way up to 8. Right up to 8. So we could have went to 7 because it looks like the last one is 7. Now look, all nice numbers going this way. Now what? It's not a y. It's not an x or a y graph. It's a time graph here. So time is down here, not an x and y. Time in what? Seconds. So we're going to put s here. Now this is height. This is the other number, height. Usually they're ugly numbers on this side. So I'm going to turn the page and write height in meters. And here's where the ugly numbers. So if you didn't see what I did, I wrote height here in meters. This is where the ugly numbers go, the ones that are measured, the ones that are calculated. They don't go nicely, whatever. So look, they don't go up by nice numbers. You don't write 100, 113, 116, 119, whatever. You don't go up by those numbers. Okay, these depend on what we picked here. Depend on these numbers. That's why these are called independent. And these depend on what we pick because we put in the equation and we measure. So these are called dependent numbers. And the dependent always goes here and the independent goes down here. Now, we got to get all the way up to 116. So maybe we should get up to 120. I think we can go by tens. I'm a lazy person. I'm not going to label 10, 20, 30, 40. I'm going to label the 50th. Here, we're going up by tens. 50. That's 50-meter height. So if I want, I could put little ticks there. I'm not going to label it till the 50th. And the next one's like 60, 70, 80, 90. Then I'll label the 100th. I labeled it. I know that's 50. I know it goes up by 10. I got two numbers. I know it's height in meters. Just like these, I decided to go by ones, and I had to label every single one time because I know it's gonna be exactly at those values. So I like to write them down. Here, I know it's not going to be exactly 50. It's going to be like weird numbers going up and down. And I know it goes up by 10, so I'm only going to label a few. So I usually only label a few on the dependent axis, the one that's dependent on the independent variable, the one that we picked. Okay, I'm going to start at 0. So here's 0. So we go to the first point. 0 is at 100. So we go from 0, we put a nice big fat dot at 100. Then at 1, we're 113. So at 1, we're above 100. That's 110, a little bit higher. So right about there, I'd say. Just approximated. 116's got to be a little bit higher. We'll go every 2 lines. A little bit higher there. Okay, 109, just under the 110 mark. Right about here. Okay, that's 100. That's 110, just a little bit under it. Here. 92. So if we go to the 4, we go all the way up to 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, just a little bit above the 91, right there. And look, 4, 92. And the other one was 3, 109. Now we're going to go 5. Where's the 5 there? 5, 65. So 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, halfway 5. Go right there, smack dab there. 6, there's where I'm getting 28. Right under the 30. 10, 20, 30, right under there. Put that dot there. Okay, now negative 19, well, that's down here. I'm not going to graph. This is probably going to hit somewhere here. So I'm going to sketch the graph. It's going to sketch it. So I'm going to go here. It's going to curve. So I'm going to come following down here. I'm going to come through here, come through here. I'm going to go kabam down there and stop. It's not going to go under there. Looks like it hits about 6.5. It's not going to go underneath. There's no negatives. Unless there's a valley here, it's just going to hit the ground. Okay, B part, C part, and D part, I'm going to do in the next video. Okay, next video, those ones. So whoever's there as the teacher, play the next video.